everyone, welcome to another episode of Glam Chat. Today we'll be talking about how you should stop expecting discipline to feel good. For a long time when I really struggled with discipline, I was so upset at my struggle with it that I just had to start looking for resources on it. At the time, I really didn't like watching long form videos, so I would go to TikTok and I would watch, discipline videos, what disciplined people were saying. And I found so much relief with finding that most of the disciplined people that were speaking and talking about being disciplined didn't even like being disciplined. And this was such a breakthrough moment for me because I don't know why I thought it was just supposed to be nice, it was supposed to be cutesy. I didn't know it was like a global acceptance that this thing doesn't even feel good in the moment, right? You just have to do what you need to do. When I realized that discipline does not need to feel good for me to do what I have to do, my relationship with it changed dramatically. In the past, I was heavily controlled by my feelings. I feel like doing this, I feel like doing that, and that's what I'm going to do. But now I'm genuinely heavily controlled by what I've written down that I'm going to do in the order I'm going to do it. Before I got to that point, it was just my feelings, and they would dictate my day. They would dictate the things I would do. I found my discipline journey becoming easier and more practical when I realized that even these people online didn't find it easy, but they still did it. It made me feel like I could do it. I kind of formed a mental community with these people that I didn't know online that still were disciplined regardless of not liking it. It made me feel like I could relate. It made me feel like I had people out there who were just like me, but the difference between them and me was that they would show up regardless of how they felt. It made it easier for me to start adopting this mindset that I don't need to feel good to do that thing. I can just do it. I used to watch a video a lot that I didn't understand at the time. He would say, if you want to be more disciplined, just set up a schedule and do the work regardless of how you feel. And that video kind of upset me because sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel tired. I feel like I don't want to do this. This morning, I felt that way. I didn't want to film. And I kept thinking to myself, what does he mean by set up a schedule free from how you feel and do the work? I struggled with that video for a very long time because the concept just didn't make sense to me up until it did. He said, write up a schedule or set up a schedule free from how you feel and just do the work. When I started implementing that in my life, guys, like just setting up a schedule and, fixing a time for what I want to do, doing it and not complaining, not negotiating with what I've written down, I realized my relationship with discipline changed dramatically. The trajectory of my discipline journey changed dramatically because my to-dos, the things I set out to do, were no longer dependent on how I felt. One of the single most important things on your discipline journey is this: eliminating feelings. Once you eliminate the need to feel like doing something before you do it, I promise you, you'll become 70% more disciplined. In fact, I was kind of upset that I wasn't a disciplined person because I was like, why can't I do this thing? Why can't I figure out this thing? I'm someone that likes figuring out things. I'm someone that likes, understanding things and just doing stuff. Let me put it like that. So I found my struggle with discipline extremely annoying, and the fact that people made it sound so easy even put me off the more. Like I said, the video that kept saying, just set up a schedule, do the work free from how you feel, because I was, let me say at the time, I could say I was 75% controlled by how I felt and 25% disciplined, or maybe 65-35. The numbers aren't so important now, but just know that I was more dependent on how I felt rather than what I wrote down. I don't remember exactly how I started trying my best to resist my feelings, but I promise you it was a journey. It was a journey because I'm someone that doesn't tell myself no. I don't know if you've seen all these funny videos about how I would always give myself a treat. That's literally me. So in my head, I'm like, why should I, deny myself something? That's why discipline is so, oh my goodness, it's so crazy because it's self-denial. In the moment, you're denying whatever current pleasure procrastination gives you, and you're trying to be more disciplined, and it feels like you're denying yourself something. It feels like, why do you have to tell yourself no? But you need to learn that you need to tell yourself no sometimes. And if you're someone that, you're not used to hearing no's or telling yourself no, that's going to be very hard. But you just need to adopt that mindset that I am going to need to tell myself no sometimes and just stick to what I put down. Stick to what I put down regardless of how I feel. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of times people miss the nuance. I'm not saying be sick and be trying to be disciplined. What I mean by that is that, example for me, I incorporate rest into my day every day so that when I'm doing a task, I won't just say I'm tired and give up on that task. I already know I'm going to rest later in the day. So I stick to what I have put down and I don't make excuses because my days are already structured in a way that I'm going to have everything sufficient that I need, that those things wouldn't be excuses. Like I won't say, oh, I'm just hungry, I just don't want to do what I want to do. I'm going to make sure I'm going to eat throughout the day so that I won't have that excuse. I'm going to make sure I'm going to rest so that I won't say, oh, I was just tired and I didn't do this. Like, so I rarely hear those, I already get those feedback when I'm trying to do something, because like that's just not how I would live my life, basically. I promise you, once you accept this mindset that discipline is not supposed to feel easy and just nice and cute in the moment, like I'm supposed to always feel like I want to do the things I'm supposed to do. Once you get over that way of thinking, girls, boys, whatever, trust me, see how your discipline journey starts going from now. I hate to be the one to break it to you guys, but discipline is boring. Being disciplined is boring. That's just the truth. It's boring, especially if you're someone that's very spontaneous and you're just used to, going with the flow and you just do anything and everything. And that's kind of what gives you like a form of excitement in your life. Being disciplined may be quite hard for you because you're having to move from a life of spontaneity to a life of structure and strictness. Why I say this is because to be disciplined and to be disciplined all the time, it requires, I wanted to just say it requires self-discipline, but it requires strictness. It requires telling yourself no. It requires all the things that being spontaneous kind of goes against. So I would say that discipline is boring because it's just like a structure that you just set in place and have to follow. It's not fun, but you have to get used to it if you're as passionate about your goals as the discipline journey would take you. I also love letting you guys know everything about what I'm talking about. So I'm telling you guys that I was the biggest procrastinator. I was the queen of procrastination. And this is me talking to you guys now that, a lot of times procrastination has this fun to it because there's something at risk. So a lot of procrastinators, they're even procrastinating because it kind of seems fun, like you're kind of on the edge, which is crazy. I'm not saying that it's just a crazy thing. I even think that at the time when I was a procrastinator, it used to activate my problem solving mood, because then I'm scrambling thinking, how can I do this in as little time as I can and just do all these things, but it's just not helpful. The thing is that if you're a procrastinator as well, you would observe that the fun in procrastinating, the rush, all these feelings, they're not there in a disciplined life. Yeah. So if you can accept these two simple things, that discipline isn't fun and it's not fun, it's boring, and it's also not expected to feel good in the moment. I really think that if you can accept these two things, it will change your relationship with discipline. Don't get me wrong as well. I'm not saying that discipline cannot feel good. I'm just saying that sometimes it doesn't feel good in the moment. It doesn't feel good to do the things you're supposed to do. Some people, let me just use the example of going to the gym. It may not feel like you want to go to the gym that day, but when you go to the gym, you find out that you love working out. That's not what I mean. I don't mean that you don't love some of the activities you're doing. I'm just saying that sometimes to do them when you said you would do them doesn't feel good. And one thing about discipline is that it's not just doing the things you do or doing the things you said you would do. It's, do you do them when you said you would do them? Yeah, that's the big issue. You set out things to do. Okay, you did them, but did you do them when you said you would do them? Did you not procrastinate to get that task done? That's what you should be looking out for. For a procrastinator, you can't have the same to-do list as a normal person. Let me just let you guys know. If you're a procrastinator, your to-do list needs to be based on, am I doing the things I said when I said I would do them? If you just do a typical to-do list, you're not fixing your problem. You're not fixing your problem because you're just going to take it. You got it done maybe 9 p.m. You said you'll get it done 8 a.m. It's not ticks in your world. You have a different way your to-do list should be, which is how I had to adopt mine when I decided to become more disciplined. I say all this to say this, that if you want to be more disciplined, you have to just mentally accept these truths, that it's not genuinely going to feel great, it's not going to feel good, it's just going to feel like something you have to do because this is when you said you would do it. You also have to accept that it's not going to feel fun. I'm not trying to make this sound depressing, but I promise you guys, my more disciplined life, I feel more fulfilled than when I was a procrastinator. So don't listen to all of this and think that this just sounds so depressing, it sounds so boring. The boringness produces fruits. The boringness makes you happy. The thing about discipline and procrastination is that procrastination feels good in the moment. Discipline doesn't feel good in the moment. But afterwards, procrastination feels bad and discipline feels good. What I mean by that is when you reflect on your day after you had a productive day and after you had a less disciplined day, a procrastination day, You feel bad when you procrastinated at the end of the day. But when you have a disciplined day, even if you didn't feel good in the moment doing those things, at the end of the day, you feel fulfilled, you feel accomplished, you feel like you could trust yourself because you stayed disciplined. And that's where the fun, nice aspects of discipline comes. It comes after. So it's like a delayed gratification. The thing about it, it doesn't feel good in the moment, but afterward, you will feel good. So don't base being disciplined or not being disciplined about how you feel in the moment. Think about how you're going to feel afterwards when you are disciplined. If you can program your mind to always think about how would I feel afterwards, I know how I feel. Chase that feeling. That's what I do. I chase the feeling of the fulfillment I get when I'm done being disciplined instead of chasing how it feels in the moment. Notice something. Procrastination feels good in the moment, but afterwards it feels bad because when you reflect on your day, you're like, oh my goodness, I procrastinated. I shouldn't have. It feels bad. It's a trade-off. It's just a horrible trade-off. But with discipline, it feels bad in the moment, but afterwards it feels good because you realize I didn't like being disciplined, but I got everything I wanted to get done, and now I feel so good. That trade-off is just is crazy, and that's why you should stick to the discipline path, because that's the one that is going to make you feel good eventually all the time. If you were disciplined throughout the week, you would observe that you're happy throughout the week at your goals and what you did, because every time you review what you set out to do, you genuinely did it, even though it didn't feel good in the moment. I say all this to say this: discipline may not feel good, it may not feel fun, it may not feel exciting, but at the end, when you delay that gratification of not procrastinating in the moment, you will feel good from everything you have accomplished and from your structure, routines, and whatever. So guys, I think I'm done talking, and I think this is enough to spur someone onto a more disciplined path. I hope you guys love this episode.